So we're going to now move on into the big news of the day, and it's why I kind of I tweeted it out. Actually, I retweeted it, and the exact tweet was along the lines when you found out that Teddy Bridgewater got injured, and it was that scene from Game of Thrones, spoilers, by the way. So if
so skip forward like 20 seconds.
So if you haven't watched all of season, 6 was the last one?
The newest
then
season.
Skip ahead. Basically, it was a gif of King Tommen just stepping out the window.
Yeah.
Just walk right out the window, just kill yourself, season's over.
Well, I do want to say, it seemed like the apocalypse had happened. The way the media was reporting, the way the team was reacting and everything.
Our season's over.
It's not.
It's over.
It's not really
It's over.
I think that honestly, the Vikings can go ahead and get somebody and still potentially make the playoffs.
Not going to be the same.
I know I just had them not making the playoffs, but I know that Teddy is, I don't want to say he's the glue that keeps it all together, but he's an important piece. But at the same time, this is a team built on defense with a defensive head coach and Adrian Peterson, the greatest running back in all of the NFL right now. You don't have the best, you didn't have the best quarterback either. And I saw somebody bring up the question. I don't necessarily agree with exactly what the question's implying, but the question was, do Viking fans really think that they can't get a free agent to put up close to the same numbers as Teddy Bridgewater?
Yeah, but I think, and the big reason why I'm saying it's over, put a fork in it, is we weren't looking for the same thing out of Bridgewater from last year. We were looking for that, and we were expecting, and it was kind of it was an opportunity. Well, not opportunity I'm looking for. It was that optimistic view of he is going to take that next step forward and be the guy that we want him to be. And for me, it's one of those things where maybe it's because it just it's the day of, and it was really weird that, you're listening to Mike Zimmer talk about it, and the thing he referenced when talking about Teddy Bridgewater was, I want to say it was his wife, where he's like, yeah, I lost my wife a couple years ago, but the sun still came up the next day.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa,
a little dramatic.
Our season's honestly,
over. But here's the thing. That's the perfect example of it. Vikings fans are being so incredibly dramatic right now. The game continues. It's not even week one.
Stare right now.
It's not even week one. Shit will go on. You're going to sign somebody tomorrow, probably, who is going to quickly start learning the playbook. They will play in week 4 of the preseason, and they're going to compete for the starting job with Sean Hill over the first few weeks of the season.
You know who we need to sign who would be perfect for us?
Who?
Sexy Rexy.
Sexy Rexy, because he can throw it deep?
Well, not just that. Well, Laquan Treadwell, just let him go deep, throw it to him. Sexy Rexy made it to a Super Bowl on the same thing you mentioned, a good defense.
Yeah.
He was an okay, maybe shitty quarterback with a good defense.
Yeah, he wasn't very good. But, so is Mark Sanchez, and he's going to be available.
No, I would be.
He did the exact same shit, but not in the Super Bowl. AFC Championship.
You know who I would want more than Mark Sanchez?
You want Colin Kaepernick?
I would want Colin Kaepernick.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you for wanting Colin Kaepernick. He's the most talented quarterback who might be available.
I might take TJ Yates. Well,
there's some other guys out there whom you might be interested in competition-wise, like a guy like Zach Mettenberger, who...
According to Adam Kaplan on Twitter, he sent this out as soon as the injury was reported. These are the best available quarterbacks for right now. Tavares Jackson, he used to play with us, not that great. Rex Grossman, Matt Flynn, Whitehurst, Vic. I'd take Michael Vick. Austin Davis, Josh Freeman. Yeah, that didn't work. Jimmy Clausen and TJ Yates.
Yeah, Jimmy Clausen can be okay from my experience with him in Chicago. He can be okay, but he's not going to do great. But he might not be a bad option. Honestly, Jimmy Clausen might be one of the better options out there. Rex Grossman's not a real option. He turned down the ability to play with the Browns not too long ago. I don't think Michael Vick's really an option either. He's had opportunities to where he could have done something in a backup role when he's had to fill in, for example, with Big Ben. Wasn't able to do so. Any of those other guys aren't really exciting me either. Maybe Tavares Jackson is okay if you have him just on a bench as a leadership role, but you're not getting that.
Can I throw something out there? And
sure.
I'm not saying I want this to happen because the first thing that Sean Anderson, fast breaking MVP, threw out there as a joke at me was, "Oh, bring Christian Ponder back," and I was like, "Oh, well, he's in San Fran." And he goes,
He's probably going to start.
He's like, "We'll trade for him," and I'm like, "No," and he goes, "Well, you can get him for a seventh." I'm like, "No, I wouldn't want to give up a seventh for him. That's the thing." If we're looking at, and it kind of got me thinking, well, is there a quarterback we could trade? Like, is there a quarterback that we could trade for, or would we want to trade for a quarterback? Because it's one of those things where hopefully we're only getting a quarterback as a rental for a year. You know, it's one that I thought of that, I mean, it fits, but I just don't think the price would be right. Sam Bradford.
Yeah, potentially.
I think the Eagles would want too much, though.
I think so too, for sure. The Eagles would want quite a bit, especially knowing, you know, your needy situation. Another thing that I don't want to say this conspiracy theory, but it's something that might be possible. So a certain quarterback's going to play 4 games this year. Jimmy Garoppolo. He's going to be auditioning for other teams because Tom Brady's going to play till he's 60.
They wouldn't trade Garoppolo.
Why not? Tom Brady's going to play till he's 60.
But the Patriots don't honestly believe that.
Yeah,
Do
but
they?
I think they believe that they have at least 3, 4, or 5 years out of him still. He hasn't shown his signs of decreasing yet. I say yet because, you know, I mean, remember Peyton Manning decreased in like 2 years to nothing. So it's going to happen. But there's the problem that the Patriots are going to have is Jimmy Garoppolo can go out there. If he performs well, they are stuck in the situation of we have a good quarterback. Other teams want this good quarterback. We only got about 2 more years of Jimmy Garoppolo left before we have to do something. Tom Brady might not be done in 2 years. We don't want the Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck situation. I know a team that can get into the playoffs this year if they have this guy. I think it's worth it. Bill Belichick loves draft picks. He loves trading for draft picks.
Let me throw out another name, and I know we're getting into like trade speculation now, and we're going to get back to the Vikings in a second, but Zimmer, where did he come from before he came to the Vikings? What team was he at? The little tiger stripes that they have on their helmets?
The little Bengals?
Came from the Bengals. Who's the Bengals backup?
Bungles.
Who's the Bengals backup?
A.J. McCarron.
Maybe a trade for A.J. McCarron?
He performed admirably.
He was okay.
He was okay.
He's pretty good.
He was, well, let's not get to pretty good. He was okay.
He's better than Sean Hill.
You know, but there are options out there. I mean, you can, but the thing to think about too is there's some quarterbacks who are about to get cut as well. You could bring some of these guys on if, you know, if a quarterback or if a coach has some connection to them and thinks, hey, I think I can get something out of this guy. Or it's purely just system. If it's purely system based of, I think this guy can hand the ball to Adrian Peterson and occasionally throw a slant pass.
I think it's more than that.
We're all right.
I think it's more than that, and I think that
But you don't want Sean Hill to start. That's the thing. Is you really don't want Sean Hill to start.
And the most important thing from a quarterback for me is, and it's what I say all, like, I firmly believe that in the preseason, you can get away with athletic ability because you're not playing real football, let's be honest.
Yeah.
When you get to the regular season, it is all about what a quarterback has from the shoulders up. It's all about that. Bronco fans, you can tell me till you're blue in the face that Trevor Siemian is going to lead you to the Super Bowl. The reason why Peyton Manning won you that Super Bowl is because he had what it takes above the shoulders.
I just keep saying that argument doesn't work because Trevor Siemian went to Northwestern, one of the best colleges in the entire country.
I'm talking football smarts, not necessarily bookie book smarts.
I still think he's pretty damn smart, no matter
Ryan
what.
Fitzpatrick is pretty smart.
Yeah. And what did he do with the
hasn't
Jets
done
last
much.
year, though?
Didn't make the playoffs, though.
Still went 10-6.
Didn't make the playoffs, though.
This
That's what I'm
year,
saying.
they're going to be a 12-4 number 2 seed.
With the Vikings, I want to get into what if Sean Hill does start?
Hey, you guys want Geno Smith?
I've got no.
I bet you could trade for Geno Smith.
I'd keep Sean Hill. I'd keep Sean
What about
Hill.
E.J. Manuel?
I thought about Cardell actually in my head. I thought Cardell before EJ. Is that weird?
Well, I mean, no, because I think we know what we have with EJ. We don't know what we have with Cardell.
I also, in the back of my head, was like, oh, what about those 2 quarterbacks that are probably not going to be used yet in Cleveland? And I'd fucking take either Kessler or McCown.
Would you take Johnny Manziel?
No. Only because I'm not sure. Well,
he's won some games.
Is there really
I think he's won one.
Is there really that much to do party-wise when it gets cold in Minnesota? Like,
I wouldn't think
that's
so.
the one thing that maybe then yes.
He
but
might need
probably
to stay
not.
inside.
Yeah, he might need to stay in, but No, I wouldn't. He's too much of a loose cannon in that sense. But the one point I was going to ask was, we both had the Vikings fall to third in the division. If Shaun Hill starts, is there any way? Because I don't see it. I cannot give you a legit answer. Is there any way the Vikings can make the playoffs with Shaun Hill at the helm?
That's a really good question. I think a lot of it depends kind of on the Chicago Bears. So, you know what? Let's think of it that way with the Chicago Bears. You know, let's say that the Bears, for whatever reason, you know, they're going to lose a game to the Lions because that happens. Mm-hmm. Let's say they're not able to beat the Packers at all. You know, let's say that the Chicago Bears still, even though, you know, you would think that they can beat some of these kind of teams that are toss-up games like the Giants, you know, maybe a Buccaneers game or something like that. They start losing some of those games, become a 9-7 team. Sure, the Vikings can hop over them at 9-7 because I don't have really anybody competing in the wild card spot. I don't even have a single 8-8 team in the NFC. And my predictions, if I can get the Vikings and the Bears to 9-7 both, kind of a toss-up. For me, Bears were 3-3 in the division. Vikings were 2-4 in the division. That stands for something here. You know, it would take something like the Bears.
Those two wins are over the Lions, naturally.
Actually, I gave the Lions a win just to play with this.
I did not.
But let's say that the Bears can't beat the Vikings either game. All of a sudden, the Vikings are 10-6 again, still getting back in there. You know, it's totally possible. Is it likely? No, it's really not. But I think that the thing is, defense is still going to be one of the best defenses. Adrian Peterson is still going to be one of the best. If you can just get a quarterback that keeps the defense honest, if a quarterback can just do enough to where they can't stack every single player in the box to stop Adrian Peterson, this team is still going to win games because they will be close. Adrian Peterson will manage the clock, so will the defense. And then a guy like Shaun Hill, he just needs to not screw up. It really is that he needs to not turn the ball over, and he needs to be able to just pick up 5 yards if it's needed. You know, he doesn't need to throw to Laquan Treadwell all the way down the field. He doesn't need to do any of that. He just needs to kind of do enough to just squeak forward a little bit here and there.
And when I say the season is over, I'm not saying like it could be worse. We could be like a 3-13 team. That ain't going to happen. Let's be honest. Our defense is too good. But when I say the season is over, it's because there were high hopes. Like I had this team in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
When we did our first predictions. And actually, that in the last segment, I screwed that up. I thought I had Carolina and Arizona. I didn't. I had Minnesota and Arizona the first time around. And the first thing I thought of today, maybe this is just like, I think cynical's the word that I want to look for in this situation. But when Teddy first went down, I said to myself, I'm like, but I didn't pick them to go to the Super Bowl.
But in your heart, you did.
Is that? And then I immediately thought, I'm like, wait, we did that segment about 3 months ago. Could the Vikings make it to the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl this year? And then I'm thinking, oh my God, did I say they would? Like, does that, because that is the kind of like, I don't want it to sound like I think I'm higher than I am, but usually when I pick a team to make or win the Super Bowl, catastrophic things happen. Like, I'm sorry for Cardinal fans that I said you guys would win the Super Bowl, and then one of your quarterbacks tore his ACL.
Yeah.
That's just what happens when Ricky gives you the kiss of death, but it's just one of those things where 7-9 to me. Some teams would look at that and go, oh, that's good, we can build on that. But with me, where I had my expectations for this team, NFC Championship game, divisional round at the worst. Let's make that step for next year.
Yeah.
I still, like, that's why.
Well, it's a wash season now.
Oh, it's completely washed.
Even if you get to the playoffs still, it's kind of a wash.
I am almost in the sense of, let's just tank, get a top 5 pick so we can get a guy like Myles Garrett on a defensive line. I'm not even talking about Leonard Fournette or Deshaun Watson because AP and Bridgewater are going to be there next season. I'm talking let's tank for a guy that we can get on the defensive line or in the cornerback or just another defensive piece for Mike Zimmer. I know Viking fans are going to say, Ricky, you're crazy for even saying that, but why not? Why not get a low pick, get a really high pick and a bad record to try to get like a Myles Garrett on the defensive line?
Really what I think this does, because I have the Chicago Bears winning 11 games. I don't really think the Chicago Bears will win.
I do too.
I don't think they will win 11 games, but that's just the way I have it right now. I know that probably is confusing some people, but this really what it does is it opens things up for Jameis Winston's Buccaneers if they can do anything. The Redskins can become back in the conversation for, I know you had them in there, but even, a team that somebody might not expect. Maybe the Falcons can bounce back. Maybe the Lions suddenly, I really doubt this, but are going to say, hey, Megatron wasn't that big of a deal. We're okay and can fight because the Vikings and the Packers had shit locked up, so did the Cardinals and the Seahawks. There was no competition. If you couldn't win your division, you weren't getting in. And the only division that's up for grabs was the NFC East. That was it.
Still is up for grabs.
Now with, but now with the, Vikings being out of the conversation a little bit, at least in the conversation of it's competitive, and the Bears.
It opens up that wild card.
The Bears are going to be lucky if they can win 10 games. They're going to be lucky if they can win 9 games. So wild card is completely up for grabs in the NFC again. Completely up for grabs. So it's unfortunate. You hate to see it happen. Teddy Bridgewater seems like a great guy. It's just,
I still feel like even talking about it now, I still feel like
still sad.
Well, it's not a sad thing. It's like the floor to my gut has just fallen, and like my gut is just sunk.
I just think that Vikings fans, I know that today
I'm overreacting.
I know that, nuclear weapons went off across the entire world, but you guys got to calm down a little bit. The world did not end. You're at least an above 500 team. There's a good chance you get 9 wins. You can quite probably still get 10. It's going to be okay. You're still competing for a wild card spot. You're probably going to sign a quarterback tomorrow. If not tomorrow, it'll be Thursday. We're recording this on Tuesday, so Wednesday or Thursday. They're going to come into practice. They're going to have a huge sleeve of plays across both hands. But you know what? That's okay. They're going to learn the playbook slowly. And, they're going to get thrown into the fire and they're going to compete. Don't be surprised if Sean Hill starts 2 games. Vikings, you lose to the Titans, you lose to the Packers, you lose to the the Panthers, and then all of a sudden you have a quarterback switch to that guy who's been sitting there learning the playbook. Don't be surprised if something like that happens. It's not the end of the world because those games were going to be hard no matter what. Panthers are going to be hard, Packers are going to be hard, Titans are going to be hard, Giants are going to be hard no matter what. So it's going to be okay. If you can get to the bye week and have won 2 games, that is a win. And it really wasn't going to be that much different to what it was going to be in the first place.
So that's going to do it for our Viking segment. I want you guys down below, Viking fans, I really want to hear from you. Are you on the side with me, your fellow Viking fan, where I'm just really depressed right now? And not like really depressed, but it's like one of those things where you're I'm going to call it sports depressed. I'm very sports depressed.
It's a fair way to put it.
Right now. Or are you on the side with Mark that people like me are overreacting and I should just get my head out of my ass because we're going to be fine?